So Mike Bloomberg, will be in the debates tomorrow in Nevada. Okay. Mike Bloomberg is running for president. He is not on the ballot in Nevada. Tomato. But he will be at the debate stage. Tom Steyer, Smith is really happy, will not be there. I know you're happy. All right.
This is the first of so many Democratic debates where all the candidates on the stage are somewhat relevant.
You don't think Tom Steyer is relevant? Listen.
No.
There has to be a Tom Steyer fan out there. 866-801-8255. I will open the lines for Tom Steyer. Make your case.
Good luck.
I mean, if it wasn't for New Hampshire, I'd say Amy doesn't need to be on the stage either.
Wow. Okay.
I would agree with that.
I think all people should be on the stage because we need to see. Okay. All right. Let's just move on. All right.
How many debates have you seen that, though?
I have.
How many debates did you skip because of that?
I have. You're correct. I need to hear. But do the debates matter? Are people making their decisions based on the debates?
Apparently that was the case with Amy Klobuchar. Everyone was like, her debate performance that Friday night was so spectacular that I changed my vote.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know what debate they were watching.
Or did Trump people vote for her? Okay, we're just going to, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Because here's the thing. There are polls, which I believe are for strippers. There are, and here's the truth, and this is why I spend so much time in the comments.
Yeah.
Because unlike Twitter, which is a very, very small slice of a very, very small slice of people.
Yeah, so true.
YouTube is more indicative of who's out there
for
me. And so I watch trends through there. Facebook is even more of an indicator, but I'm not on Facebook. And I talk to people. So there's stuff going on in the world that some of you who live in homogenous bubbles, and there are black homogenous bubbles, even if you're working in a workplace with white people, you don't really communicate with them nor show yourself, so that you can't really have deep conversations for a lot of reasons, right?
Absolutely.
Distrust and rightfully so. Because of history or whatever, or your real lived experience in that. So we don't really get, people aren't honestly saying I'm a Trump supporter. And if they are, usually that's the asshole in the office. Yeah. Because no normal person is going to be wearing a MAGA hat in the office or be around, so that that's the office asshole, right? But for the most part, people are keeping their real feelings close to the vest. Even when posters call, which is why people were so shocked.
Yeah.
Last time in 2016. So there's a climate. There's something happening in the world. I know that there's a lot of anti-Bloomberg stuff. I don't know how it's going to play out, but I want to have a measured conversation that's unemotional about what we, and again, we're not monolithic, but as far as when I say we, I mean black people, but good people.
Yeah.
I want to create the world I want to live in. How do we get there? Where people are respecting one another, people are aspiring to live an American, whatever that is, American dream, where you can reach your goals unfettered, by social constructs like racism. Like, how do we create that world? And who can we hold accountable? Because again, I'm not looking for a savior. I'm not looking for a buddy. I'm not looking for somebody I can have green tea with because I don't drink. I'm not looking for somebody I can go to the gym. I'm looking for a leader who won't embarrass us because the bar is real low right now. The Geico lizard can get under that right now. That's how low the bar is. That lizard from Geico can get under it like limbo. Like the bar is really low. I want someone who understands geopolitical things, who will not take us into war on some bull crap, and somebody that can balance a budget. Because quite frankly, those are the jobs that you have to be able to manage Washington and understand how to get things done across the aisle.
Yeah.
Somebody who knows how to check what's his name?
Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because while I think his seat is up for grabs, I don't see a whole big groundswell. So he may still be there. Unless we flip the Senate as well, which should be on the table.
It should be on the table. There should be a whole table dedicated to flipping the Senate. There should.
Yeah. So I'm going to play an ad from Bloomberg. And let me just say, we have not received any money from the Bloomberg. Karen Hunter, Urban View. Now, if Bloomberg wants to spend some of how much has he spent already? $385 million in TV, radio, and digital ads alone so far. If he wants to throw a few million on Urban View, we are taking it.
Absolutely.
Just letting you know. To date,
Shit.
we are not in anybody's pocket. I've always looked at it. I did not like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
I was not out campaigning for her, but I was very clear about who I was going to vote for very early.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'm going to vote for.
Me either.
But I'm looking at this strategically and what needs to happen next.
Same.
So let's play this Bloomberg ad, one of the ads that he is putting out there, spending $385 million. Play it.
We can't afford to wait to start campaigning in the rest of the country. It's time to think bigger and act bolder.
We need the Democrats in Michigan, too.
And here, too, in Colorado.
And in Pennsylvania.
Wisconsin.
And Texas, too.
If we include all of America, we will win.
We need a president for all of us.
All of us.
All of us.
We need a candidate who has the strength to rival and defeat Trump.
Wherever you are, whoever you are, you matter in this process.
Okay. And he's got a lot of very irreverent ads as well that like you want to play that one too? Go ahead, Smith.
Quiet.
Shut up.
Sit down. Go back to Univision.
All right.
Such a nasty woman.
Up.
Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
I will destroy you.
What a stupid question.
Butthead.
Get him the hell out of here, will you?
Get out of here.
No, not you. Not you.
Hello? Anybody home?
Yeah, so he's been trolling the F out of Trump.
Oh yeah, and it's working.
Is it?
I think it's working. I think Trump is responding to it, and he's like, he gets on the Twitters and goes in, and Bloomberg comes right back and gives it to him. Listen, I know there are a lot of reasons to say what the hell with Bloomberg, right? Like I said when Bloomberg first jumped into it, ever hear of this whole thing called stop and frisk? I've said that 100 times when Clay and I had debated the whole thing or whatever. But here's where I think we are today, though. We're in a different. I think that this race is in a different space than we've ever been, and we as other Americans, I think that we are in desperate times. 4 more years of Donald Trump is going to have, to me, decades-long ramifications, and
that we can't even fathom right now.
That we can't even fathom. Like, if you think the 1994 crime bill was a problem 10 years, 15 years later, imagine if the intention was to actually destroy
right,
people.
Which it wasn't then.
That was not the intention, was not to destroy a community. But imagine now you've got somebody whose intention is to destroy families and communities. And as far as I'm concerned, Democrats have one job. They've got one job: defeat individual one in this next election. And for me, that's a by any means necessary conversation.
All right, Malcolm.
That's a by any means necessary conversation.
All right, 866-801-8255. I'm an always glass half full person, and within horrible tragedy, I see opportunity, me personally, and I see an opportunity to build and create and grow in the midst of what you're talking about. But I also am reminded of history and how dark and horrible it can get if we let that train continue to roll the way it's rolling, which, again, you don't see a thing until it's right up on you when it's that insidious. And this has been a game plan not for the last 4 years or 8 years. This has been probably like 100 years in the making. And they finally have a candidate who can enact all of the things and have the power to put judges in positions to change laws that will impact us 20, 30, 40 years into the future, which includes not just women's reproductive rights, not just civil rights, which have to keep coming up for renewal. But we just saw a New York court be overturned by a Justice Department after giving sentencing to somebody who committed a crime and was convicted by a jury of his peers. I'm talking about Roger Stone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Barr came in and was like, nope, we're going to what?
Yeah.
How does, the president has the Justice Department, and they're not talking about impeaching Barr. Good luck. Good luck with that. Who's going to stand behind it? We know the Senate's not going to.
Absolutely not.
So the deck is stacked, and the only way out is to make really sound choices, not emotional, not based on, I'm not voting if he's the nominee. and I've said this on these airwaves, Tom Steyer could be the nominee. I'm voting for Tom Steyer.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth, whoever the nominee is, whether I'm in line with them or not, whether I care about them, whether I like them, whether they inspire me, I'm voting for them, the nominee for the Democratic Party.
And if somebody needs a ride to the poll, they can ride with me.
Okay.
So to make sure that they can
Drew is driving.
that they can get one too, because even if no matter who it is, I feel the exact same way, Karen, because this is not the time for protest votes. That's just not what this is. And I don't think that anybody who is any sort of minority in any kind of way, I don't think that now's the time for your protest vote.
Right. Well, and let me tell you, Bloomberg's
Or
complicated.
for apathy.
Or apathy especially, but being angry, Bloomberg, there's a lot to be angry about. Stop and frisk is a very infuriating thing. His resistance to it, his lawsuits about it, wanting to pay the Central Park 5. Like, we're going to be honest. We're going to have a conversation today. There's now, while promoting a $127 million 3-year initiative to help minorities in the workplace in 2011. So he's a complicated person.
Yeah.
On the one hand, he put $127 million into a 3-year initiative to help global majority people in the workplace in 2011. He also said out of his mouth this.
But nevertheless, there's this enormous cohort of Black and Latino males aged, let's say, 16 to 25, that don't have jobs, don't have any prospects, don't know how to find jobs, don't know what their skill sets are, don't know how to behave in the workplace.
What y'all think about that? Fact? Fiction? Now, 2011, he's still doubling down on stop and frisk. And Mike Bloomberg's racist mind, and I'm going to say it's racist because racism is a system.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he hates black people. I'm saying Mike Bloomberg was raised in America as a racist, as most white people are. It's not your fault, per se. It's your fault to get out of it. Once we tell you, don't double down and say, well, it's not my fault. No, do something about it. Fix it.
Or try to tell me what racism is.
Please don't do that. Racism is systemic. So in Mike Bloomberg's mind, a black male or Latino male ages 16 to 25 should be frisked, stopped, thrown up against the thing because I know they're doing something and they don't know how to behave in the workplace. This is what he believes. It's effed up.
Yeah.
But if we're going to say he's effed up, let's go down the list of people who hire. Do they believe the same thing? Now, HR tells us we can't say that.
Right.
But does Raheem Johnson get hired? 18 years old? From Bed-Stuy, from Compton, from Crenshaw, from Southside Chicago? Does he get hired? Bankhead? Yeah. Does he get hired? And why not? Oh, because I don't think he knows how to behave in the workplace. Now, on the flip side, does he know how to behave in the workplace? And where does he get those skills?
Yeah.
Because a lot of that is also home training, which apparently many of you do not have. I said it. I'm seeing y'all, when no one's watching and you're behind your keyboard, because this is the real testing ground, like what your character is.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know who you are, right? My face is out there. Anytime people are like, this is Karen. If I'm responding on Twitter or any place else, it's me. I don't have anybody else doing it. So, yeah, direct connect. But y'all are hiding with the little pictures. You got your fake names, and you get on there, and you get emboldened and calling people out of their names and stuff. Yeah, that's a person that doesn't know how to behave. Yeah. Because even because it's a public forum, you don't have enough restraint, decorum, discipline to be able to make your case with facts.
Without calling me out my name.
All what he said. And if you don't, why would I think you know how to behave in a workplace?
You know, part of...
I'm conflating, but I'm doing it on purpose, so take that.
Part of the thing, too, that's interesting about what Bloomberg said was that he actually, when you listen to what he said with the full context, he ain't saying that all people of color are coming into the workplace and don't know how to behave. He's talking about, you know, a subset of people who have not been in the workforce, who don't, he just said people who don't know how to find jobs, who aren't getting hired, who are frustrated with their prospects and don't know how to behave in the workplace, that whole thing. I can say that there are certain things that when I used to volunteer at Europe is a nonprofit, and
What does it stand for? Europe.
Year YEAR up.
Year Up.
Yeah, and nonprofit.
I thought you said Europe.
They would give mostly Black and Hispanic young people who had not gone to 4-year schools. They gave them, if you got an associate's degree, they would give you like an apprenticeship in technology inside of a big corporation. You'd have like a long internship. You get all this training on how to behave, air quotes, in the workplace from them in these courses that you would take afterward. But they would place you in large companies so that you could kind of be an apprentice and then figure out, okay, how to get to school. And sometimes the actual companies would pay for you to get your associates, or they pay for you to take your hours from your associates to get a master, not a master's, but a bachelor's, right? And my mentee told me that he had gotten reprimanded at work because, you have the big refrigerator stock full of all of the juices and stuff and the sodas, and he's like, he got reprimanded because he, took a couple of home every day, what I mean, at the end of the day. And I told him all the reasons why he couldn't do that around, corporate culture. You just can't do that. It's for you to use while you're there, whatever. And that was just something that no one had ever told him before.
Right. And listen, Ron, Alley Cat from our show, first year on the air, he was on quite frequently. Just had lunch with him, as a matter of fact. And, and he's out there doing different things. But he said when he first got into advertising, he's a guy from Queens, went to Queens College, city boy, went into the advertising space. He had someone whose job it was to take him shopping because his clothes were wrong for advertising. The right kind of shoes, the right belt, the right tie, the right kind of briefcase. Yeah. Back in the day when people used to carry brief, he had to learn how to eat, because you're in these spaces where you're selling and you're representing this larger company. I think of Sidney Poitier's To Serve with Love.
Yeah.
And this is not race, this is a demographic thing where if you come from North London, South London, or whatever, and you don't know how to comport yourself, it's going to make it more difficult for you. Now, maybe it's not such a big deal now, but I'm imagining that there's still a way to behave in corporate America.
Yeah.
And while we may want to change the paradigm, whether it's how we wear our hair, which I think shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
But the tones that we take, the clothes that we wear, there are uniforms in corporate America that we need to understand. And if you come from a particular place where nobody in your family has ever worked in these spaces, I was actually thinking about, since you brought it up, we need to bring back Miss Manners.
Oh, yeah.
And just because clearly please and thank you and how we communicate and how we get points across and, and even when I talk about code switching can only happen because that there's a due north. And we could argue whether that due north is right or not and European shouldn't be the standard. You could argue it. But the reality is these are the things that will separate you. Jamal talked about this yesterday from Jersey City, going to boarding school and being able to now operate in spaces and still maintain his true self is a balance and is a struggle. But he can do it because he knows all, and it just makes you so much more powerful.
It makes you so much more powerful when you it's not necessarily about assimilation. It is more so about survival until you get the opportunity or the training or the education that you need to where you can create spaces that are more comfortable for you and other people, because that is possible.
Absolutely. I'm not going to give out the number because all the lines are lit and I'm going to go to the phones. But let's get it back to Mike Bloomberg. Problematic, absolutely. Yep. Can he beat Trump? I think absolutely. Bernie Sanders is not happy that he's going to be on the Nevada debate stage tomorrow. He said that is what being a billionaire is about. Some very good friends of mine who are competing in the Democratic nomination, people like Cory Booker of New Jersey, Julian Castro, work really, really hard. Now I sound like Jesse. Really, really hard. Nobody changed the rules. All right. Nobody changed the rules for them to get into the debate. Bernie Sanders said, but I guess if you're worth $60 billion, you can change the rules. I think that is very, very unfortunate. I get why he's mad. He's been out there hustling and getting votes, and he's the front runner.
Getting votes and getting $15 here, $14 there to get to a couple of million.
And this man can come in and hold my beer. Here's $1 billion, kapow! Yeah. And he's willing to spend up to what, $7 billion? It is problematic.
Yeah.
And maybe he's a little bit of an oligarch, but from the standpoint of like having a lot of money. Is that what that means? What does it mean to be an oligarch? Can we define that? Really? Let's do that another time. When I can look it up. All right, let's go to the phones. I fundamentally know what it means, but I'm not really. 8668. Go ahead, Smith. What is an oligarch?
A very rich business leader with a great deal of political influence.
Okay, he's an oligarch.
He's an oligarch.
Right.
Well,
what does that mean?
He's not the only one.
Hello, we have one in office.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who may not be very, very rich.
And
pretending.
Look, anybody who has a problem with feeling like Bloomberg has the potential to buy this election, your problem is not with Michael Bloomberg. Your problem is with Citizens United.
Yes! And y'all didn't vote then either.
And you didn't vote.
Because that's the Supreme Court, which
Right.
I've been talking about. Oh, y'all
Bloomberg has a very good GIF on Facebook going where it says, it's him and then Trump. It says, self-made, daddy paid.
Ooh, that's very true.